Hey guys, so I just finished watching Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban on 4K HDR, starring Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, Rupert Grint as Ron Weasley, and Emma Watson as Hermione Granger. Stepping into the role of Dumbledore is Michael Gambon after the unfortunate passing of Richard Harris. We have new additions to the cast in this one, including Pam Ferris as Aunt Marge, Gary Oldman as Sirius Black, Robert Hardy as Cornelius Fudge, and David Thewlis as Professor Lupin, and directed by Alfonso Cuarón. Now, after Chris Columbus gave us Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, this one is really a completely different tone altogether. It's got more of a magical fairy tale feel about it in this one. It's a lot darker tone, a lot more mature, a little bit more scary. So we are starting to go into a more mature direction with this one. Alfonso Cuarón has delivered such a beautiful movie that is kind of really ups the game. The first two movies to me were kind of very kidified. This one is still a little in that playground, but pardon the pun, but it does start to develop and become a little bit different, and it's exactly what the series needed. Chris Columbus is a fine director and I love most of his movies, but he had his turn with the first two, so it was time to go in a new direction. And Alfonso Cuarón has crafted a beautiful, intelligent story from J.K. Rowling's third novel. The basic plot of the story is Sirius Black, who is suspected of helping Voldemort kill the Potters, has escaped from Azkaban prison where he's spent the last 12 years of his life. And now he's on the run and he's hunting down Harry Potter because, as far as he is concerned, Harry Potter is the last thing standing between him and the rise of Voldemort. So the movie opens once again with Harry being terrorized by the Dursleys. It's a truly unpleasant environment that they've got him living in, and any excuse he can use to get away, he's going to take it. So Vernon's sister Marge rocks up for a dinner party and starts belittling and bad-mouthing Harry's parents right in front of him. And Harry, barely able to contain his anger anymore, turns her into a balloon and she floats away. At this point, he decides enough is enough and runs. He grabs his luggage and takes off, where he's picked up by the night bus, K-N-I-G-H-T. The movie does open with a few comedic tones, a lot darker, yes, but still very comedic. It's not until we're on the Hogwarts Express where Harry Potter comes across the Dementors. Now, these are some creepy ring wraith type things. They are guards from Azkaban and they're out and about trying to find Sirius Black. And the way they operate is they suck the happiness out of you, leaving you soulless, unhappy wreck for the rest of your life. Now, on the train, after the comedic opening of the movie, it's kind of where it takes a bit of a turn to some pretty terrifying moments, to be perfectly honest, and it's beautifully done. The arrival of the Dementors is always foreshadowed by a sudden drastic drop in temperature. You can see ice creeping up the windows, water is freezing. It just gets really cold and the characters become very uncomfortable. And one of these creatures comes into the cabin where Harry, Hermione and Ron are hanging out on their way to Hogwarts, with Professor Lupin asleep in the corner, and this creature just starts sapping Harry's happiness. Just as he's about to faint, Professor Lupin jumps up and gets rid of the Dementor using a Patronus charm. Of course, Harry's okay. You just got to eat chocolate after one of these encounters and you're okay. It's like in normal life. So the crew end up back at Hogwarts and the Dementors have taken up positions all around the school, much to everyone's dismay, because, as everyone knows, Sirius Black is on the loose and Harry Potter is his target. So they are there to keep the school safe, although they are just as dangerous to the students, if not more so, than Sirius Black. Emma Thompson. I forgot Emma Thompson in my opening. Emma Thompson is in this, playing Professor Trelawney, and she's wonderful. Oh, and Dawn French is the lady in the painting. That's also really, really wonderful. So as I said in my opening, Michael Gambon has taken over the role of Dumbledore. He plays the character so much differently than what Richard Harris played him. He brings such a youthful vigor and vitality to the role that is just perfect. Richard Harris kind of played Dumbledore like as an elder statesman, a real kind of old wizard type, whereas Michael Gambon just kind of mixes it up a bit and kind of just has a lot of fun in the role, and it's just perfect. He owns the role from here on out for the rest of the series, and he really does make it his own. We're also introduced to Buckbeak, the hippogriff being looked after by Hagrid. He becomes quite a central part in the movie as well. He's like a big cross between like a falcon and a horse, and he's really quite beautifully realised, and he's quite a magical creature, like literally. So this is where the world is kind of just expanded beautifully. Did you know that Ian McKellen actually turned down the role of Dumbledore? They offered it to him after the passing of Richard Harris, but he said no because Richard Harris had called him a terrible actor. The things you know. Yeah, so in this one also, we do have a bit of a change in the way Hogwarts actually looks. In Chris Columbus's versions, there's green rolling fields. It all looks really lush and green. Whereas this one, it's more jagged. There's more steep hills, and the weather in this one is not really nice at all. All through the movie, it's a lot of clouds and rain and misery. It's a real dark film, and it's just gorgeous. And Harry Melling, who plays Dudley Dursley, was almost recast because he had lost so much weight. They decided to put a fat suit on him to make him look more like his previous goes at the role. Interesting. Oh, and this is also John Williams' score. I have not mentioned it in my previous reviews. I don't know why. But yeah, John Williams has once again delivered magic in scoring this movie. And this is actually his last time in the Harry Potter universe. His score will go on. But yeah, this was his last one, scoring the music for a Harry Potter film. And John Williams is just an absolute legend. Am I right? So it's the third movie in the series, and like I said, the tone is completely different in this one. And the way it is presented on the 4K HDR is a marked improvement on Chamber of Secrets. In that one, there was a touch of grain in the transfer. This one, that seems to be remedied. There's no grain in this movie at all. It's crystal clear. And yeah, there's a darker movie. Like literally, it's a darker movie in tone and aesthetic due to the changing environment and the shitty weather. And the way it's presented, once again, is just astoundingly gorgeous. The colour palette just pops off the screen once again. The night scenes, there's some beautiful shots of the moon, establishing shots of Hogwarts at night with the moon in the background and the dark sky, and all the Dementors are just kind of hovering and floating around the school, and it just looks absolutely stunning. So once again, HDR, 4K, just knocks it out of the park. It's just gorgeous to watch, and I just wish I could share it with everyone. Oh, it's so great. Oh, and Peter Pettigrew is in this as well. Timothy Spall plays Peter Pettigrew like he's a real life human rat hybrid. He is perfectly creepy and wonderful. I'm sorry, Timothy, that I left you out in the opening, but you know, with credit where credit's due, better late than never, right? So yeah, so for me, this is where the Harry Potter franchise really starts to spread its wings and just expand on its universe and introduce so many different characters. The plot really starts to become quite intricate, and you can see where J.K. Rowling is laying the threads for future installments and what she's done. She's an amazing writer. She has crafted such a beautiful story, and the way that she links it over so many books and like so many movies and just keeps everything coherent, and she just planned out so much in advance. It's beautiful to see, and that's another endorsement I must give you. If you've not read the books, absolutely dive in. If you're a fan of these movies and you haven't read the books and you are missing out, you really got to do yourself a favor and dive right in, because they are wonderful. And as fantastic as these movies are, they are trimmed down from what is presented in the books. There's a lot of stuff not in the movies. It has caused some derision among the fans wanting more from the books in the movies, but if that was the case, these movies would be 5-6 hours long. I know some people would be fine with that. But yeah, so the books are their own thing in keeping true to the story, and the movies are so faithful, but there is some stuff missing which you probably get a lot out of if you are really, really curious and a mad Harry Potter fan. Then again, if you're already a mad Harry Potter fan, you've already read the books, right? So yeah, this is a wonderful story. It's kind of regarded as one of the best movie in the franchise, and I can see why. I've got my own personal favourite, which I will share with you when I get to it. But yeah, absolutely, this is one of the best movies in the franchise. You know what? All the movies are bloody fantastic, but this one it's just because it was so different from its predecessors, and it was just absolutely wonderful, and everyone just fell in love with it, and it's just wonderful. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking out my channel. That's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, 4K HDR. If you haven't seen it, grab it, dive into the series. Like I keep saying, revisit if it's been a long time or if it's your first time. Enjoy the magic. Thanks for watching.